Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's a special day again today for us in a circle group. We've got Ilan from Autochartist, who's got up at an unearthly hour to come and share some insights and some not only in terms of markets and stuff. He's a fantastic educator and very entertaining, but also in terms of how Autochartist can work and help you in your decision making. And one of the most important things that we're all short of is, of course, time. So how to use the time leverage that it offers to add to your trading. It is available to all Go Markets clients. So I'll run a little poll. If you haven't got it, or you want some support doing it, I'll flick the support guys sort of the response from that poll, so anybody who needs help can get it, but it is available in your client portal. So watch and learn from one of the guys I've the utmost respect for, and I'll pass you over to Ilan. But first of all, obviously, we've got to say this, that of course this is for educational purposes only. You've got to make the choices, not only in trading, but also, of course, whether you add things like Autochartist to your trading toolbox. And of course, risk management is a key thing of everything that not only we do at Go Markets, but I know it's a big thing for Ilan as well. So he's going to reference that, show you the risk calculator that's available as well. So without any further ado, I will put you in the capable hands of the man himself. Just give us a second. There we go. It should be there, ready, and
you should be able to see me. Is that right?
We can see you. Yes, we can see you.
Okay.
Fantastic. I'll leave him in your hands, Ilan. I think
wonderful. So everybody, I've got three monitors. I've got a monitor where I look at you. I've got a monitor with my MetaTrade, and I've got a monitor with my with all my questions and stuff and chat and questions. So I'm going to try to keep track of all three monitors. I hope I can. If I look away from you, I'm not talking to my wife. I'm looking for Meta. Hello everyone. It's been a while since we've spoken last. I'm super excited to give this presentation. I've just finished my first cup of Joe, so I can feel my brain kicking in, and I always like doing this early in the morning because that means I haven't cherry picked my my examples, right? Which is always a dangerous thing in live trading sessions. So here we go. So if everyone can see my Autochartist expert advisor that I dragged and dropped onto my chart, you'll see this a little scanner on the bottom left of the chart where you dropped it onto. If you don't have this expert advisor in your expert advisor section, in the navigator section in Meta, then what you need to do is you need to go to gomarkets.com, go into the client portal, and once you're on the client portal, there is a download link to download the Autochartist MetaTrader plugin. There's a download link to do that, and it's one of those very simple wizards. You just click next, 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 and the thing installs itself. It should be pretty straightforward, you know. And at the end of that kind of 5-minute process, you have this expert advisor called Autochartist, and you also have the Autochartist risk calculator. Now, I'm going to try get through both on a very, very high superficial level, but I know that we're going to be doing quite a few of these sessions, and so what we'll do is we'll do a very high level today and dig in deeper and deeper as we go. Today's focus is obviously on trying to find trading setups with Autochartist, and so I get back to the section of this EA, and despite the fact that it's called an EA, it does not trade on your behalf, right? So don't worry about dragging and dropping it onto your chart. It does not trade on your behalf. It is simply an EA because we use some functionality that is only available to expert advisors in MetaTrader rather than indicators. And that functionality is these very fancy user interface components. So what is Autochartist? So Autochartist really at its core is two components. It's a market scanner and a risk management tool. And today's focus on the market scanner, and what it is a methodology to really narrow down what's going on in the markets for you. When I'm waking up in the morning, now it's 5 a.m. for me. I woke up 30 minutes ago, 4:30. I'm dazed and confused. I want to know what's going on in the market. Autochartist will give me a very quick technical outlook of what's been going on. So I can see, for example, if I click on this little view button over here, GBP Swiss franc H1, I'm expecting a big movement on pound Swissy, right? And when I click on it, I can actually see that Autochartist has given me, sorry guys, I see that my audio is down. Mike, can you hear me? People are saying my audio is down. Can I get a test? Can anyone hear me? Audio is fine. Oh, okay. I saw some people, I see Stephen, Ranjiv, people are
I can
saying
hear
audio
you.
is down. Oh, okay. All right, good.
Right.
Thank you, everyone. Sorry, I got a bit of a scare. People telling me my audio is down, and I thought I was talking to myself for the last 5 minutes. Okay. So, so as we can see, back to that, so we click on this little view button next to pound Swiss franc, and we expect a big movement. And as we can see here, that really there was a very large movement on pound Swiss franc. This large movement, actually big movements alert, tells us that it was an exceptionally large movement. In fact, from a statistical perspective, it means that the movement was in the 98th or greater percentile, right? That means it only happens once or twice in every 100 or so candles. Okay. Same thing with Swiss franc Japanese yen. Right? Again, exceptionally large movement on Swiss franc Japanese yen. Interestingly enough, we can see that both of these are against the Swiss franc, right? So the Swiss franc, for some reason, in the last few hours, missed my trading session. Obviously, it's during your trading session. The last few hours, it dropped dramatically against two seemingly unrelated currency pairs, the pound and the Japanese yen, right? So definitely something going on with Swiss franc. Created a bit of volatility in Switzerland. I haven't seen the news. I might have to go look at the news to see what actually happened, right? I also see that the Euro Kiwi also absolutely humongous drop. In the last kind of day or so, something going on there. And so I can continue going through this list to try and understand what's going on in the market, right? And it goes beyond big movements, right? It goes, there are lots of different types of analysis. One of them is consecutive candles. So although this is not a huge movement, it's telling us that the pound has had an exceptional amount of consecutive candles, bearish consecutive candles, right? So normally it's just a handful. Now there's an exceptional amount. And remember, Autochartist does all that work, hard work for you, right? So, and let's say a big movement on pound Swiss franc might be 30 or 40 pips, but on pound Japanese yen, that's 80 or 90 pips, right? So the system self-adjusts, right? It's not like it uses the same thresholds for each currency pair or each instrument. It actually adjusts itself to the instrument you're looking at. Right? Now, these obviously this list of instruments that we've got here is not a complete list. In fact, it's linked to your market watch window, right? So as you can see, I've only got currency pairs in this market watch window. So the only things that are shown in Autochartist are the instruments you have in market watch, which it basically telling Autochartist, these are the instruments I'm interested in, okay? So look, this is a demo account that I logged into, and it's got, you know, a dozen, 2 dozen or so pairs in it. I personally, when I trade, I don't look at 2 dozen pairs. I look at, you know, actually less than 6 or so. But you know, if you have a smaller amount of instruments that you're looking at in Market Watch, you'll obviously get a smaller amount of results within the Autochartist market scanner. And then, so back to some of the results, you have some of these very simple to understand big movements and consecutive candles, and then you start getting more complex. So here is an example of a slightly more complex trade setup where we were looking at this euro kiwi on the 4-hourly chart. You can see as we click the view button, it changed to euro kiwi 4-hourly chart. And what we're expecting is a support level, and a gray arrow down means that a line is approaching that support level, right? It hasn't yet broken through. And in just a moment, you'll notice there's a green arrow just above it, and guess what that is? That's a green arrow that's broken through the resistance level. So we'll pick that up in just a moment. So what is it telling us? It's telling us that on the 4-hourly chart, there's a very strong support level, and we can see absolutely, completely agree with Autochartist. Well, let me choose a different color. That was a really bad color. Let me go with a yellow. That should contrast nicely. We can see that it really has picked up a really good support level over here, and the price is moving towards this level. Now, in today's webinar, we're not going to go into how to trade this exactly, right? So there's actually 3 ways of trading this kind of trading opportunity, right? The first way is to take a short spot position with a take profit at this level it's approaching. The second way of doing it is to actually set a sell stop position, so at that level, waiting for a breakout, and then short. And the third way of trading it is to actually set a buy limit order at this level, expecting a bounce, right? So there's actually 3 different ways of trying to execute this trade, but needless to say, it's extremely important for you to know that there is this support level on Euro Kiwi, because in my experience, if there is going to be a long-term breakout, there is at least going to be some kind of whipsaw, some kind of pullback and resistance, just like there has been at all these other occasions over the last few days, right? So extremely, extremely important level to keep an eye on. Okay. And then, so that's kind of the next level of complexity. And then we have an even greater level of complexity. So here we have support and resistance playing together to form a triangle pattern in what is this? This is Australian dollar loonie, right? And there was a very small breakout. Let me zoom in here. A very small breakout through this resistance level. Yes, Autochartist identified this as a pattern because theoretically, there is a breakout over here. This is not really a breakout. If you know anything about technical analysis, you need a much more distinct breakout through a support or resistance level to really call it a breakout. And then obviously it was with a pullback. Is this something I would trade right now? I'm not sure. The breakout wasn't very strong. Probably not something that I would trade at this stage. Okay, so let's go back to some more stuff that Autochartist identified. We have an ascending triangle over here. Oh, now this is very interesting. Ascending triangle on pound Swissy. This is interesting to me because it's quite a strong resistance level. We can see that Autochartist did a really, really good job of identifying this resistance level over here. It's not perfect, but it's definitely there, right? Lots of touch points. In fact, it goes even further back over here. Lots of resistance here, and a very strong, let me zoom in again, absolutely very, very strong movement through this resistance level. And then because it's a green little arrow, Autochartist provides a forecast level. Now that forecast price level is not based on which direction is the wind blowing or some kind of random event. It's actually it's based on technical analysis theory, right? I won't go into the calculations, but essentially it maps the initial height of the trade to the breakout level, and then what we do is we scale it by the pattern quality, which is kind of by half. I'm not going to really go through that right now, but you can see it's kind of half of that distance, and that's where we set the price level, the target price level. But again, very interesting trading opportunity right here on this ascending triangle. And so you can continue to go through these trade setups to try find yourself the kind of trades that you wanna see. Now, I will tease you just a little bit because we're definitely going to do an entire webinar, I'm hoping, Mike, just on this topic itself, which is the
Absolutely.
past performance statistics, right? I'm really hoping I'll get the opportunity because there is this idea of past performance of Autochartist. I'm sure you're all asking, how well does it do? In a way, you're asking the wrong question because the question should be how well does technical analysis do rather than how well does Autochartist do. But needless to say, if you copy and paste that URL into a browser, you'll actually get the past performance of Autochartist, for the different asset classes and exchanges. Now, past performance isn't indicative of future performance, but for example, these key levels that I was showing you, key levels is what we call these breakout, these horizontal support resistance levels. You can see these are breakouts and approaching levels, 76% and 82% probability of hitting the target level. Okay, so really, really high probabilities. You can actually click in and dig in and actually see the probabilities themselves. Again, I'm not going through this right now. We'll have an entire webinar, I think, just dedicated to that itself. But really, really high probabilities of, again, of hitting those forecast levels, or on the approaching side, which are the gray arrows, really high probability of hitting the approaching levels, which is those green lines. You can see the price is moving towards that level. Okay, so how do you filter even more? Let's just say you're not a technical analyst. You don't want to see breakout chart patterns and consecutive candles. You only want to look at key levels and big movements. What you do is you click on that little filter icon. It looks like a little filter thing and comes up with this little filter section where you can check and uncheck different types of trade setups that you may want to see. You can see that. Notice that I don't have M15 and M30 ticked. That's because it's just overwhelming for me. There's just too much noise, so for me it's just too much. If you're the kind of person that wants to look at more volatile type of opportunities, you're welcome to tick M15, M30, and then you're going to get an absolute fortune of events coming up. Let me set everything back to how it was. Notice I had 4 pages of results with M15 and M30 ticked. I'm probably going to have a whole ton more. I've now got 6 pages worth of results to go through, right? So again, this might or might not be the way you trade, but certainly not the way I trade. Okay. So let me set that back to my settings. Okay, let's go through some of these other little buttons on the top of Autochartist, because again, we're trying to give an overview today rather than specifics. So again, these are the kind of trade setups that you want to set when you click the filter icon. This little world icon gives you 2 links. The one is the performance statistics, which I mentioned just a moment ago. The other one is the Autochartist web application. If you want, you can copy and paste that into a browser window. It'll give you access to the Autochartist web application. It's a little old, It's actually getting mothballed very soon, and we're moving into a slightly more modern version. But for now, it's still quite a nice little tool. So Ross asked a good question. Let me get back to, before I move on to the rest of these icons. Ross asked a question: why are some arrows colored and some gray? Okay, Ross. So we have this concept of emerging or approaching and breakout, right, in Autochartist. And so let me show you the difference between the two, because they're very, very important. I'm going to remove some of these other opportunities. So here I've created a whole bunch of gray ones, and there's one a green one. So let me start with the green one. The green one tells us that there was a breakout through support or resistance. Bad example. Let me try find a better example. This was the one we looked at before. So Swiss franc, pound against the Swissy, you can see that there was a resistance level, which is the green line, right? So a price level where the market found a lot of resistance. It didn't think the pound was worth much more than that. And then there was a breakout through that line, which from a technical analysis theory perspective means that there's potentially a new trend that's going to happen, right? So a breakout normally means that there's potentially a new trade to follow, right? Now, the other type of trade setup we have are these gray arrows. The gray arrows are an indication that there is some kind of support and resistance going on, but it's still within parameters, right? So you can see here, what is this? This is the Canadian dollar against the US dollar on a daily chart. And as we all know, the US dollar has just been depreciating over months and months and months now. That's what happens when a central bank decides to print an infinite amount of money. And so I laugh at it because I keep telling people the market is skyrocketing here in the US, obviously, as everyone knows, except for the last day or two. But everyone tells me, wow, the market's been doing well. I said, yes, but in global terms, you're no richer because your currency's just been tanking, right? It's been devaluating. So it's devaluing. So anyway, I have a good little chuckle with some of my friends about the stuff. Anyway, you can see here, back to the, sorry, Ross, I got distracted for a moment. You can see this gray arrow means that the price is still within some kind of trend, right? It hasn't yet done a breakout. So here is one on, let me zoom in. Here's one on, what did I click on? Euro Ord daily. Again, no breakout yet. Still a compression pattern coming in between support and resistance. This is quite interesting, these triangle patterns where there's this compression. If any of you are familiar with a term called a straddle, it's mostly used in options trading, but you can also achieve it in spot trading, currency trading. A straddle is basically where you take a position, you can take a stop, a buy stop position on this direction, a buy stop position in the sell direction, and then you kind of wait for the breakout, and if you believe in technical theory that the price is going to give way, it's either going to kind of explode long or explode short, right? Choose one of the two directions. So these are quite interesting, these kind of compression trade setups. So Ross, I hope that I have answered that. Okay, so let me continue with that. So again, going back to this little icon over here, you can launch the web app, the past performance statistics. There's a little cog which allows you to change account. We won't go into that, that's not important. This is a super interesting one. This is the access to the Autochartist mobile app. So I'm sure you're all wondering, how do I actually get trade signals on my best friend, my cell phone? If you go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store and you search Autochartist and you download the app, it's available to you. It's not a free-to-use app. You can't buy it, nor can you just get free access to it like most apps. You have to actually click the scan QR code button. You walk up to your screen and you scan this QR code that's on the screen over here, and it will allow you in as a Go Markets customer. And that is a super interesting app because it is based on one of our most premium features called Our Favorites. Wow, I've just realized I'm just dumping a whole bunch of information on all of you. But anyway, this is a high level overview now. Our Favorites is basically our most premium feature that we offer. And remember these pattern or the statistics that I showed you just a second ago, all these stats? Our Favorites is basically us combining all these statistics along with all the trading opportunities that are in the market at the moment. And we provide this probability filter. And so you can say that, hey, only show me trade setups with such and such probability, at least a 60% probability. Now, that is what the Autochartist mobile app is based on. Because we generate so many trade setups on a daily or even hourly basis, your phone would be going off, just 40, 50 times a day, even if you're strict with what you're telling it to alert you on. And so what we only do is we only send you a push notification, an alert, when there's a high probability event, right? And what do we mean is a high probability event? Something that has had over 60% hit rate in the last 12 months, right? So if we go to minimum of 70%, you see we've gone down from 7 pages down to just almost 1 page. If you go to 75% for past performance statistics, you're down to, 5 opportunities currently right now. If you go to 80%, then, you're looking for miracles, okay? There's still those through. 80% is just ludicrous. This is a marketing team wanting something extreme. You can't expect to get an 80% hit rate in the markets. Even just 60% hit rate in the market reduces you down from kind of 7 pages of opportunities down to just 2 pages of opportunities. Again, depending on your the instruments you're looking at and the setups that you're looking at. Okay, okay, so that's the mobile phone. I see a few questions coming through. Chris, is there a PDF with all this information? Chris, there is no PDF with all this information, but there is an extensive library of educational videos, which the Go Markets team has access to. And what I'll do is I'll have a chat to the guys and make sure it's available to you. There is also a link you can go to. Let me show you this link, and I'll send it on to all of you in the chat window. I will send you a link here to all participants, the entire audience. There we go. I sent you a link. This is an interesting little download page. You can download the MetaTrader plugin from here or from the Go Markets website. And there's 4 little videos explaining things. In fact, the videos explain everything I've explained, except in a much more succinct way, obviously, because they've been planned, right? But again, it's just more about using the tool rather than the intricacies of technical analysis and support and resistance, and that's the reason for these webinars, of course. Okay, so I see Jeffrey is asking, are there monthly fees for this? There are no monthly fees. It's in fact, it's even better than that. We are a completely market neutral. Autochart is a completely market neutral analysis provider. We do not get rebated based on your trades. We do not have any incentive to make you trade, make you win money, lose money. We try to provide you a completely neutral an unbiased view on the market, and Go Markets pays a technology license fee to us, right? So there is no nonsense in terms of incentives, and there is absolutely no fee for you as long as you have a live funded account with Go Markets. I believe, Mike, you'll be able to tell me, I'm not sure, there might be a small hurdle, like a minimum deposit of $500 or something like this. I don't remember if there is a little hurdle, but it definitely at least a live funded account.
There was, Ilan, but what we've done, because we really want people to start using the incredible tool that you're showing people, we really want to sort of ramp this up in terms of giving you the opportunity. So it's a funded account with any amount,
okay,
and you get
great
access to that in your client portal. That's
well, there we go.
it's
an account with a funded live account is what you need. I do believe that you can use the tool on a demo account, but then all the trade setups that come up are a few candles delayed. So it's a bit of a teaser, of course, but that's obviously an incentive for you to open a funded account, to open a live account and fund it. Tony, that's very interesting that you don't have the fourth icon to get the mobile app. That's definitely something you need to email to the Go Market support team, and we are not allowed to directly communicate with broker partners with their clients. You have to liaise with your support team, and then they will escalate. If there's a technical issue, they will escalate the problem to us, and we'll resolve a technical issue that's there. So sorry, Tony, if you don't see that. Okay, so Stephen is asking a good question. What sort order are the symbols? So the sort order of the symbols actually is it's kind of a temporal order, or latest found order. It's kind of that. And let me explain what I mean by kind of. It's actually it's ordered in the age in candles. So for example, this opportunity on OrdCAD is 2 candles old, so it's at the top. You'll find that the Euro NZD opportunity over here is probably 2 or 3 candles old. We don't know exactly where it was identified, but it's probably 2 or 3 candles old. GBP Swiss franc, you can see it's 1, 2, 3, 4 candles old, right? And so why I'm saying it's not exactly in time order is because, for example, this daily pattern over here, this is quite a few candles old. So you have different amounts of candles for H4 and H1 are different amounts of actual time. But what we do is we measure the age in candles because it tells you how old the trade setup is in of itself, right? Rather than in time, right? So it's in age. Okay. Now, I've spoken for, wow, 30 minutes nonstop. I wish I had a glass of water and another cup of coffee. Rod, oh God, Rod, whatever coffee you're drinking, Ilan, I want some. All right, yeah, Rod, sorry about that. That is definitely an effective coffee. Waking up at 5 in the morning, I'm a little bit of an intense person too. Okay, so Rad is also asking, why is there no smiling face on the upper right corner of the chart? Okay, so Rad is talking about that little guy over here. Why is he not smiling? So Rad, this little man is not smiling because this little man has nothing to do with Autochartist. This is MetaTrader telling you that you're running an expert advisor called Autochartist. And the little unhappy face means it is not trading on your behalf. So this puts your mind at ease that Autochartist is not placing buy-sell orders based on these trade setups we're giving you. So this is not something that Autochartist has control over. This is just MetaTrader telling you you're running an EA called Autochartist and it's not trading for you, right? It's not an auto trading app. Okay. So Keith, you can absolutely use this tool on any symbols that you have. Let's actually add some symbols in here. I just added a couple of random indices into the market watch window, and you can see a whole bunch of stuff in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make this all patterns, and you can see immediately when I refreshed, I've got DAX 30. I've got something happening on the DAX 30, not much on some of the other indices, but definitely a lot of stuff happening on the DAX right now. So the answer is it'll work on any of the instruments that is in your market watch window. A great, great pickup. So Sunny is asking, can Autochartist be used for trading shares and shares options? So with regards to options, let me just put that to rest first. Options is a way of exposing yourself to the market. It is a methodology of exposing yourself to the market instead of spot trading. So we don't look at the options market itself, but if you think there's going to be volatility coming up on the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, because of this compression in the pattern, then you can absolutely take an options position if your broker allows you, but we don't look at options pricing. But yes, again, as I said before, it'll work on any instruments. So that's in the available at your broker. So let me quickly see what's going on here. So there's some oils, there's some metals. So anything that's in here, it'll work for, right? Any symbols that are in here on your market watch, it'll work for. Okay. Okay, so Shane has already installed the app and everything is working. Well, that's good news, okay, because it's beyond my pay grade to actually help you with technical problems, Shane. I'm going to leave that to technical guys. So, Mike, if you don't mind, I'm going to say a few words about the risk calculator, because I know you mentioned it in the beginning.
Yeah, that would be
Now,
fantastic. I know a lot of people use that. That would be
yeah,
awesome.
so the the thing is though, Mike, I'm not sure if you picked up, but I have negative 464 balance on my account that I was told to use in this demonstration. We might need to resolve that for the next
Absolutely.
webinar, so I can actually place some trades. And I say that because the risk calculator is made for risk management, yet I can't place a trade. So everyone, I'm going to have to wave my hands a little bit and explain what this thing does. So before I actually show you what this fancy little tool does, I want to explain to you the difference between in risk management between a more professional trader versus a novice trader. So what I have seen in my career is with retail traders is that they are in the habit of creating new orders, setting their volume to be some default value, 1, and then selling the market or buying the market. With this, let me actually make this, for example, 0.1 run, because I've only got 500 bucks. And then they trade all their instruments with this one kind of volume. And irrespective of where they set their stop losses or take profits, they're always trading 0.1, right? Or whatever they've chosen as their volume. And then they think that they're managing their risk by moving the stop loss closer and further away. This is, in fact, the complete opposite of what professional traders do. Professional traders set their stop loss according to their market strategy, right? So for example, if I think I'm going to go short on Australian dollar, Canadian dollar right now, right? Let's say I want to go short, my trading strategy will tell me that I'm going to place a stop order or my stop loss at 0.9527, which is the previous turning point, right? So that's what I think is gonna happen. I would set, let's say, a short position, and that's where I would set my stop order. But this now I want to trade. Now, if I had to do what most retail traders do, which is now start adjusting my risk my risk based on how much money I'm prepared to win or lose on this trade, then what I'm doing is I'm going against my trading strategy, right? And if I'm expecting, let's say, volatility on the Australian dollar to come up and I move my stop loss too close, I'm going to get knocked out, not because my forecast was wrong, but I'm going to get knocked out because of market volatility, right? And so many times I hear traders saying, "Oh, my broker sucks. It was chasing my stop loss, and it knocked me out, and then it went in the same direction. I can't believe it." No, that is not on the broker. Believe me, the broker's got a very equal, good, strong book on both ends of your position, right? There's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of traders taking positions in all different directions, and the broker does not need your $10. I promise you that. The only reason you got knocked out is due to market noise, which is your own personal ignorance of market volatility. Okay, so if I know that, let me take a different example. If I know that the US markets are about to open, right, and I'm trading euro and I'm trading the 1 hourly chart, I know that I'm expecting some massive volatility to come up right now, right? And I want to trade let's say a long position now on the euro, with a stop loss at this turning point, which is my trading strategy. Just because I want to risk less money doesn't mean I need to move my stop loss higher and closer. So then you're wondering, hang on a second, Ilan, you're telling me don't move my stop loss. So how am I supposed to manage my risk? The answer is you manage your risk by adjusting the volume of your trade. Okay, so now instead of using 0.1, use something else. So now what I'm going to show you here is, let's just say I want to trade long euro dollar, right? And when I bring up this risk calculator, it's got this little orange line and it's asking me to tell it where I want to set my stop loss. So I want to trade euro dollar long, hypothetically, and I want to set my stop loss at this level at 119.86. Now, let's say I only want to risk $50 on this trade. What the risk calculator tells me is if I want to go long, I want to set my stop loss at this price, which is a risk of about 30 pips. And I only want to risk, if it moves against me, I want to risk $50 of my account. I should be setting a volume of 0.17, right? So when I actually set my position, I go 0.17. So even if it hits my my stop loss, right? I know obviously don't have enough money. I know that I will only lose $50. Of course, sometimes there's market slippage, so you might lose a little bit more, right? You don't get closed out exactly the same price, but essentially you're risking only that amount of money. The beauty of that is that you can use the same strategy across any a time interval, right? So for example, this is an hourly chart, right, where I want to take a position with only 30 pips risk. Let's just say that I'm trading something completely different. I'm trading, I want to find GBP JPY, the killer of all traders, GBP JPY. I want to trade GBP JPY. I think the price, in fact, let's make it GBP JPY 4 hourly chart, right? So I'm now going to trade a 4 hourly chart. I think that I'm going to trade long and I'm going to set my stop loss at this level over here, right? Now, this is compared to the previous position that I wanted to take on euro dollar, which was about 30 pips, this is a 125 pip position. Let's say I want to take it long and I tell the risk calculator, hey, I only want to risk $50. It's telling me to set my volume to be 0.04, right? Imagine if I just took a position of one lot or 0.1, I'd be risking double what I wanted to risk, right? In terms of money value. Now, this is not only in US dollars. So my account here that I've got is in US dollars, but if your account is in Aussie dollars or in euros or yen, the risk calculator would automatically adjust to the currency of your account, right? So you know how much money you're potentially losing on this trade. And so I think in the next kind of maybe I think it's another webinar or two, we'll do an entire 30 minutes or 45 minutes on the risk calculator and how to actually trade it. But I think I've given you a bit of an overview. Let me see if there's some questions. What is stop loss default to? Ross asked, when you open up this this little risk calculator, what is it default to? Ross, I don't remember. It's just kind of a few pips away from where where the current price is. It's not a significant. It's not anything significant that we work out. It's just a random price next to the current price. So Violetta is saying, does Autochartist indicate where to place entry and exits on your chart? Violetta doesn't give you the numbers specifically, because then it's an advisory service. But certainly, if you go through some of our education, there are very well documented principles and technical analysis about where to set entries, exits, stop losses, etc. It's just from a legal perspective, Autochartist simply cannot tell you, because then we're an advisory service, and that's not what we are as a company. Sunny's asking. Sunny's asking if what the difference is in risk, equity, percentage, balance. Yeah. So Sunny, this is a very good question. So when you say risk amount, Sunny's asking about these little check boxes over here, right? When we say risk amount, that's obviously an actual amount of dollars that I want to risk. Equity, this is funny because I have a negative balance. So let's say I want to trade 10%. I want to risk 10% of my equity. This is the available equity I have on my account. So let's just say I have, let's say, $500 for making it round, $500 in my account. Forget the negative sign. $500 in my account, and I don't have any positions open. Then I still have $500 of equity. My equity and balance are identical, okay? But let's just say I start opening positions, right? I open like multiple positions, and I have a profit and loss on some of those positions. My equity of my account grows up and down based on the based on my open equity, right? So my balance would remain the same. Right, the balance would always remain, let's say $500, but my equity would go up and down with the open position. So you can take a percentage of any of those amounts, and then it'll actually store it for future. So let's just say I set both of these to 10%, right? And I close that down. If all goes according to plan, I only have to set that once, and then it's kept next time that I open my risk calculator. Those percentages are there already. I hope that makes sense. Stuart says, goodbye online risk calculator. That's awesome. Yes, exactly. Jeffrey, you're once again worried about the price of this. There is no price for this tool. It includes the risk calculator. There is no price. Again, Go Markets pays Autochartist license fee, a fixed license fee for these tools. So nothing for you to pay, except for obviously having a live funded account. So you need to put some money down.
Just on that, Ilan, Jeffrey, if you're meaning things like swap fees and any brokerage, then they obviously won't be included into the loss. But obviously, you can work that out and include it into your maximum maximum dollars, just in case that's what you mean.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, Mike, sorry. Now that I'm rereading it, I see what he means. He means, does it include the actual fees? And the thing is that Jeffrey, if you take a short position, you're closed out at the bid, and if you take a long position, you're closed out at the ask. So it depends on the side of the trade you're on, right? But I'm not sure if I'm getting too in depth on this for this, but right. But certainly the price, the risk amount is indicative of what you'll be potentially losing if you hit your stop loss, right? So it might be a few dollars up or down, depending on the market volatility and the available execution prices at that time, right? But certainly it's very indicative of that. We can't also predict market slippage, right? There might not be a price at 150.854. You know, you might only get close at a 150.852 or 150.84, right? So there obviously sometimes is market slippage too, but it's supposed to be a guide for you. All right. Okay. Wow, I'm sure a lot of you have got a massive headache from listening to me. I guess that's the end of what I want to say today, and it was fun and some really good questions, and I hope that we can talk again very soon.
Ilan, that was awesome, mate, as always. Thank you so much. I just want to Kahinda, you asked if there'd be a recording. Yes, we'll make a recording available of this. If anybody wants it, drop me a line. I'll just pop it in.
Can I hand over my screen back to you, or do you have something to show the guys?
You can. I'll just type this in and I'll grab it back.
There it is. I should be handing it back to you.
Okay, so your webcam's still showing there, Ilan.
My webcam's still showing. Oh, sorry.
It's all right. No, I don't mind. It's great to see you, but
there it is. I'm off.
Here we go. I'll put my email address into the chat box if anybody wants a recording of today. I'll make sure it's available. Just a quick poll, just relating to this. There was a few people who sort of intimated might have problems with setting up. If you do need, click in the box. I'll flick that list through to the guys at support so they can sort of resolve any issues you have, or handhold you through adding it in there. We'll have Ilan come back, maybe depending on availability, maybe the first week of next month, if that fits with you, Ilan. But we'll chat about that and lock it in so we can do the next round. Okay, that's going to leave that poll open just while I'm having a look through any other questions. Yeah, lots of positive vibes there. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to ramp it up with a few different things, which we're having a chat about later. So keep your eyes and ears peeled. Now, the great news is you don't have to be. I'll just shut that poll down. Thank you for your feedback, and I'll pop that list through to support. If you do try and set it up and you can't manage it, then just flick support online. What we'll do is, because you're registered, one of the reasons we did this for Inner Circle was that you're now registered as an Inner Circle member. So we run a session every Wednesday evening. So, and then you'll get updated about what the next topic is. I think next week, as well as a live market update tomorrow, which I'll flick you the link of in a moment. We're going to do some trend continuation as a potential plan. We know that often there's a retracement in a trend that gives another potential opportunity if that trend continues. So we're going to talk about that next week. Well, we're going to have Ilan back ASAP, really, just to sort of do next stage. As I said, just you'll get notified of what the next topic is on a week by week basis, and then you can decide whether to tune in or otherwise. For those of you who want to, we run a live market update on a Tuesday and a Thursday lunchtime. I know many of you attend that already, but if you want to rock along to that, it's 12:30 Melbourne time. I'm just going to pop that chat into chat as well. So I'm just going to put lunchtime and then the link, so you can click on that. It'd be great to see you there if you can make it along. go. So if you have a look, it should be in there now. You just click on that, it should take you through. And of course, look, any questions about anything to do with your account, then connect with support. If there's anything to do with education, then ping me a line. Always great to hear how you guys are getting on. I know many of you attend these sessions regularly. It's always fantastic to see your happy smiling faces, or at least virtually. In terms of, we're going to be talking again about share CFDs and adding it to them, and how we can optimize the power of Autochartist with those. So again, keep your eyes and ears open. There's some great news about share CFDs in that we're now making them available on demo accounts, certainly the US ones. And of course, one thing special about Go Markets is you can place out of market orders onto the system, which you can't do with any other MT5 broker in Australia. So again, ping me if you want some more information on that. Rue, drop me the line. The Autochartist training videos, if you have a look at that first link that Ilan put in to the chat, that's where you can access those from. Just think we've covered all. And as I said, fantastic to see so many new faces here, as well as you regulars. So I guess from that, it really remains to be seen, or remains to say that trade safe. Interesting times over the next 2 or 3 days. We've got obviously some jobs data coming out pretty soon, as well as a rake of earnings in the US, which are obviously going to impact on equity markets and hence on USD as well. So take care of yourselves. We'll see you again very soon on a session in the near future. My name is Mike Smith. Good night. Take care. See you again.